Chris and I have been procrastinating to an absolute extreme amount. But it's 2 days before Matt flies out, and we have to have this engine mated to that transmission and in this car, all mounted up. Thank you, sir. And basically ready to be wired with everything done, with the exception of...
Well, we're living the high life, at least.
Yeah.
Champagne and beers.
That's right. Pinkies up, boys. Anyway, so this has to be done by end of the day tomorrow, or like middle of the day Friday, because Matt gets here on Friday. He's my LS buddy who's going to do all the wiring. You've heard me talking about him. Apparently I can't talk. So anyway, we got to get it done. But anyway, before I get into some details about what we're about to do right now, I've got a question for you internet LS people. If anybody knows what cams are compatible with Gen 3 motors, please comment below. I bought an LS3 cam, which is a Gen 4 cam, I believe, and I was told that it may not work with this motor. So if anybody knows anything about using a Gen 4 cam and a Gen 3 motor, 3-bolt versus whatever the hell this has, please let me know. Anyway, on to details. While you guys weren't here, I got the intake manifold on. We got held up last time because we didn't have these 110 millimeter bolts. If you guys switch, look at these, pretty nice and new. If you guys are doing any LS stuff and you go and you want to put an LS6 intake onto any other LS motor, these bolts you will need. They're $16 on Amazon for the entire set, and they're 110 millimeter M6 bolts. So you can either go to Harbor Freight and buy them, or wherever.
Harbor Freight doesn't sell bolts.
Okay, well they do, just not in specific sizes. Not worth it. Anyway, just get on the old Amazon, $16. It's free next day shipping. Anyway, so that's on there. So Chris and I at this point are going to start putting the Siki pan on, sealing the whole bottom end up, and then following that, if I don't drop the motor, we need to start getting accessories on the front. Right now, all we've got is the water pump on. Also, I don't think that you guys saw, but we had to modify this water pump outlet. It may be the inlet. I'm not really sure. I don't know what the flow pattern is on these. So we had to rotate it about 15 degrees to the right, and then I clearanced it with a ball peen hammer for the throttle body. So if you guys are using a truck water pump with an LS6 style intake,
or LS1, any of the
or LS1, really any non-truck intakes. If you would like to use the pump, you can. You just got to do a little finagling with the water pump. So hopefully it doesn't leak, but
the truck manifold or truck intake manifold puts the throttle body up here, so this is completely not in the way.
For a visual, you can see how much higher it would sit if it was on the motor. Much higher, and it's not a clearance issue. But when you switch to the car LS manifolds, you might run into some clearance issues. It still went on just fine. We just wanted to make sure it wasn't binding up or doing anything weird. And so we went ahead and rotated it and just give it a little tap-a-roo.
And we could have just gone and bought an LS1 or LS water pump assembly, but that's just more money, and this is a
no reason for it. We could make it work. It was super easy. It took us 10 minutes. So yeah. Anyway. All right, on to pan things. This right here is pornography as far as I'm concerned. This is the Siki LS Universal Swap Pan.
It's also really clean.
It's super clean. I like to keep my engines really clean. I'm just kidding. We're going to clean this out. But it's pretty cool. If you guys want to take a look in, it's actually got baffles inside of it for cornering. So you can see these flaps open so the oil can get to the center, but it stays in the center on the opposite side. So this is a pretty well designed pan. I'm pretty impressed. So we'll see what the fitment looks like. It's also got the bungs on it for running a remote oil filter, which is right under all these parts. Dipstick tube for it. So you just hook these guys up, and then you can put your oil filter wherever the hell you want.
Or oil cooler.
Or run it to an oil cooler and then do an oil filter, or vice versa, or whatever. Tons of options. This is Siki says this is for an E30, but quite honestly, this is for a lot of things. So pretty good kit. We'll do a review on the fitment when we're done. But so far, build quality seems pretty good.
Also, back to the oiling with the baffles. That is a big downfall of the LS engines. Any of the LS engines is they don't really like turning. When you go into the newer Corvette stuff, they all have like an AccuSump type setup where they're dry sump engines to prevent oil starving. So like high angle drifting, slamming it back and forth, tons of people kill their LSs for that. So anything you can do to keep oil at the pickup is beneficial with these.
Pretty dirty. There's lots of chunks coming out. I'm glad I'm doing this.
So this car, you guys have seen this car. This is what we stole some parts off of for the E34 build. Well, after we talked to Levi at Drift Colorado, which you might have seen earlier in this video, running over one of our cars, he's the one throwing that YouTube call-out challenge that we were talking about earlier that we're now building the E30 drift truck for. We talked to him about this car. This fits the budget build idea. Some things are expensive on it, but overall the car is a hunk of shit. So, we are resurrecting it. I was able to source another Borg Warner SX 300, 366, whatever the hell that is, 66 mil turbo that was on this before, that is on the E34. This is, I didn't just move it back, I got another one. I was able to score this turbo with a tile 44 millimeter wastegate, literally what was on it before, for $700. And it came with a drain, it came with some weird, crazy weird dump pipe thing that it had. It was in a sand rail, actually. So it's got a decent amount of shaft play, but she spins, whatever, she'll work. So yeah, so this car's coming back together. We got one of our guys on it now, so he's refabricating stuff. I ended up taking the blow-off valve for the E34, so we need to take that section of intercooler piping back, make a new wastegate provision, the dump pipe out the hook for that, and then we need the down pipe from turbo to the exhaust that was on the car. And then I found more of the injectors that we stole off of this, like $200 for 8 of them on Craigslist. So literally that's all she needs, and she's gonna be running again. We also broke the oil drain where it attaches to the drain pan. It was through the drain plug with an AN fitting, so we'll have to figure out that. And then we stole seat bracket stuff also for the E34 stuff. So it needs a little bit of stuff, but I think this is going to be our second car for that for the call out, the Big Daddy call out. There are more plans for it, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay, clean parts, good for oil. Find out how this thing works. Oh, hey, look, there's a place for it.
It's crazy how they made provisions for things where things attach.
Yeah, I know, right? Apparently, this just goes right in there, just like a little friend. This looks like a 13. Can you give me a 13 on impact?
Yeah, dog.
So, all right, I'm learning things right along with you, YouTube. F-body oil pickup, front sump stuff, or is it front? Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Yes, front sump. Okay, look, observe. Bam, goes right there. So that, just take this windage tray nut off, goes right in. There's an O-ring right there. One bolt holds it in. Bam, then we're ready to put the pan on. Super easy. LS stuff could not be easier so far. I see why everybody likes these motors. Definitely can't hate on it. So much power, so compact, so easy. Yeah, that guy, yeah. Cool. And then I need a 10 for this little fella. And then once we get that on, we'll be able to put the pan on. That was super easy. Send it. All right, you want a bolt?
Let me get the pickup in.
Right. Fancy schmancy in my pantsy.
Do you guys appreciate Will's songs?
If you guys love my songs, comment below. I have a beautiful voice. Celine Dion once told me she wanted me on her album, but I had to turn her down because I didn't want to make her look bad.
And that's
being
how,
famous and all.
And that's how the song "My Heart Will Go On" came about.
Yep, fact. I'm gonna add an anecdotal tale of RTV. If you guys are ever putting a pan on an engine, be very, very skimpy on the RTV. Use only how much you need. Joshua Paul Piasecki, calling you out. I'm gonna use your lesson learned. So my brother rebuilt a motor, Chevy 350, pretty basic. Rebuilt it from the ground up, did everything, had it machined, new bearings, new everything, put it all back together, but used RTV on the pan. Didn't want it to leak, so he went pretty ham-bone with the RTV. Filled it up, didn't think much about it, ran it. The engine started knocking again within 500 miles. So he spun a bearing, oil starved the entire engine because the RTV that went inside the pan from when he squished it actually got sucked up into the pickup tube and blocked the pickup screen and oil starved his brand new engine that he had like, I don't know, probably $3,000 or $4,000 into and ruined his brand new engine. So lesson learned, don't use too much RTV on your stuff. It's bad.
So I drank a lot of Miller High Life in high school. You know, back when I was in high school, the drinking age was 15.
Scusi.
But anyway, it's much better out of a bottle than a can. Just Chris's beer tip of the day. If you're gonna drink High Life, get it out of the bottle.
Drinking age was 15, huh?
Yeah, I don't break the laws.
That's right. Totally.
It was Wyoming, man. Stuff's different up there.
People change.
If you're thirsty, get a drink. Yep, that length.
What about dipstick? Should we do dipstick before we do mounts? Do we need to figure out the dipstick?
No, but there's no reason we can't put it on. It's sitting right there.
Okay.
And it mounts to one of those bosses.
Okay. So this dipstick does not fit on this pan. William, this is not really what we were hoping.
Every time you do that, I'm just gonna like in bold over your face, just
Like, number 5.
yeah. Times 5, times 1.
What's that bucket full of balls? Is it over there?
Yeah. It's literally right there.
Scratch through that.
You just walked right by it.
This is annoying.
We have another issue.
We have a
What's the
This does not go anywhere on this engine.
What do you mean?
Well, let's watch. It's gonna be good.
You ready for a
Should we have read things? About,
Like, does that go like in the thing?
is there a place on the block for it? What are you? It has to go like in it. There's something. I don't know. Okay, so sometimes you need to read instructions before you do things.
Not every time.
We don't.
This time.
But don't be like us. So we put the pan on and we did everything right. But we're like, how do I get the dipstick in? Well, so what you're supposed to do, okay, follow me. On a stock truck motor, on an LM7, or anything that came out of a truck, maybe even other stuff, the dipstick goes right through the side of the block, which you can see right here. So that's your dipstick hole. Now, if you're using the Sicky kit, what you're supposed to do is tap that for a 1/8 NPT thread. But if you come over here, you'll see, since this came out of an SUV, we do not have that. this LM4 fixes things for us. So that's cool. But what we do need to do is pull the pan off, and we're supposed to trim the windage tray. However, since I traded for this whole setup, I think the guy who had it before me had already installed this pan once on this motor for a test fit, because the O-ring was already in the oil pump for the pickup, and the oil pan went on easily. So I think the windage tray was already trimmed. However, Chris and I are going to pull it off real quick and just double check to make sure that we didn't just accidentally bend the windage tray into the crank, which would result in some pretty scary noises and probably a lot of metal debris inside the engine. So we're just going to go ahead and rip it off real quick and check that.
I was able to rotate the motor by hand just now, and it moved, but we're still going to pull it off.
Yeah, we're going to pull it off and double check. And then this, Chris, where's that brass fitting? So this little guy, this little fella, goes into the pan. There's a deal for it. And then
Come around.
follow.
Hey, pariente, el otro BMW.
Yeah, that's it.
He understands that?
He was telling me about when he was in Wyoming and like the hotel people that he was managing. He could understand them fine.
So we just figured out that Chris is fully understanding in Espanol, yet he no habla. Very interesting. Anyway, so like I was
The
saying,
mystery that is Chris.
yeah, Chris ran off with the brass fitting, but that brass fitting goes in. Oh, just kidding. Okay, so this little guy, pipe sealant, Teflon, whatever you choose, right there. And then this with its fancy compression fitting goes swing. We may need to do some finagling with this little
I feel
guy.
like you just gotta tighten this to get the clearance.
Yeah, so thank you, narrator. We'll figure that out. We'll get that working. But first, we're gonna pull the pan off and check the windage tray to make sure that it was done properly. So, yeah. Okay, update. They said the windage tray needs to be trimmed, but it's not hitting anywhere, and we've already had the pan on. So I'm gonna ignore that. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Sorry, Sicky, but we're just putting it on. So windage tray is not getting trimmed. However, this little guy is in, and we got our dipstick figured out. That bolts into that. I'm gonna wait until this.
There's that brass fitting. That was the that we were not seeing.
Yes, this is no more Now we have a dipstick, and I can be like, what's my oil level? Oh no, no oil! Hopefully that doesn't happen. Because if that happens, that means this is coming out. Okay, cool. I think we're ready to put it on. And then we just need to find some long boys for the back.
Somehow we lost 2 bolts doing this.
No, we got one. I put them all right there.
How are you guys doing today? Having a good day? We're having a good day. Starting to warm up here in Denver.
Yeah. Snow is dumb. We want warm, dry, delicious weather. For to do more of the car drift things and to drive and to make a smoky.
And drive nicer cars.
Yeah, that don't rust like that.
The
Which
only-
you guys will probably see a video on that little guy. Probably both. Probably both. Probably me finishing both.
Will and I worked out a deal. He is going to finish my GTR.
I am slave for parts, yes? I get engine, I do work. I'm like little bitch.
Why I sit there in a camping chair and drink beer and record him, probably.
Uh-huh.
So,
Super
Stay
good deal
tuned.
I got going for myself. I'm doing all of these torque by hand.
yeah.
I'm doing like a 3 out of 10 on the torque scale. We're super technical with our torque terms here.
Yeah.
So there's a Bentley manual for BMWs. What about Chevy?
Yeah, there's manuals for everything.
Yeah. Or a Haynes. Either way, we don't use those. We do it our own way. Usually it's wrong. But sometimes we get lucky.
Both times it works.
But the more we mess it up, the more you guys get to watch us do it again. For some reason, you guys find entertaining.
Don't question the viewers.
It's because they can live vicariously through our mistakes or learn from our mistakes without spending their own money on it. And we do stupid stuff, and it's funny. Like putting $10 worth of engine parts in an E30 that's not worth $10. Okay, those are ready to be torqued. I'm gonna start getting bolts off of that engine. We're stealing all kinds of stuff off of that. Donor bitch. Well worth the $100 I paid.
I sold Will that engine for $100 after I took it out of a truck.
Oh, just you took it out of the truck?
My lovely filmer guy also helped with that. But I got it for free, so.
That's tightening.
Righty tighty, leftly loosey.
Leftly Lucy.
Yeah.
Old Leftly Lucy. She's this tricky one.
She's a nice lady, though.
We just got to be able to like wiggle the pan a little bit to get these little jammers started.
All right, that girl's loose.
When you use the phrase
Can you come over here and like hold the engine with one hand and push the pan this way with the other hand?
Nope.
That would be super helpful. Thanks. So this needs to go. Yep, right. I don't know if that did anything, but oh, look at that.
Like every other video, I saved the day.
like America during World War II.
Straight up.
Dude,
D-Day,
welcome
dog.
Europe.
D-Day, dog.
Back to back WW champs.
This crank bolt is severely rusty, or crank pulley.
It's okay. It's just because it's old and wise.
We don't care. We just take this one bolt. We take it off and paint it.
Dude, it's supposed to be crusty. Do you see the car it's going in?
Okay.
It's the ratchet. It's the ratchet rocket.
Can I start hitting the pan with hammer?
Please no.
Okay.
Oh, but I mean, you know I'm gonna blow this engine up. It's just a matter of when, so I don't care.
Hopefully it's not first drive like with the E34.
Right? Fuck me.
But hey, there's no boost, so we'll probably
And
will not
if,
blow
if,
it
it
up.
if it blows up, it'll be Matt's fault because he tuned it.
Is
no,
Matt Castle?
no pressure, Matt.
No.
Okay.
Matt is Matt Beck.
Castle is Jim.
He's been my friend since high school. Yeah. We build one car every year. So, story behind that, if anyone cares, no one cares, but Matt Beck and I have known each other for a very long time, and our form of keeping in touch is we trade off building cars and helping each other. So last year, I flew out to Texas and helped him build his E46 wagon. We did a 330 swap, and we did a manual swap on it at the same time. And it's pretty legit. It's actually a super cool car. It turned out really nice, and he drives the crap out of it. Yeah, so this year, this is what I chose to build, so now he has to fly out and help me. Haha. Sucked you in, Matt. Matt also has an LS1 powered 240SX that also, for some fucking reason, looks like a Fox body because he decided to put Fox body panels on it to get around some sort of a loophole for racing. I don't know what he's doing. It's weird. But yeah, he calls it the faux stang. All right, so is the pan like actually on now? I think it is. I think the pan's on. We're good. Pan's on! Hooray!
Beer break.
Okay, so Chris and I got a lot done on the engine today, but I think we're probably gonna have to install it tomorrow because Colorado is like in a zone for the apocalypse. They're predicting 4-inch diameter hail, which, if you don't know, is about like this, and it's enough to total any car. So right now we're scrambling to get everything back inside the garage in order to keep cool things like this from being absolutely destroyed. So we have like all these really weird, rare vehicles sitting over there, not getting hailed on. So LS things are going to continue tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have the engine in. We literally have to have the engine in tomorrow, so we'll be here until it's like ready because
Doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter at all because Matt is coming on Friday. We have to have the car ready for him to wire, and it has to be driving by this weekend so we can get it to the fabricator for the cage. So that's where we're at, and I guess stay tuned for tomorrow, and you'll see what happens, and hopefully it's not my face crying profusely because all of the cars here got absolutely decimated. We still have like 40 cars outside or something ridiculous. So a lot of them already have hail damage, so those ones we don't care about. But we're hoping it doesn't absolutely just destroy everything. So cross your fingers.